I remember a time when video game movie adaptations were just so terrible. God damn, they were ass, and I loved it. I love the Mortal Kombat movie. I love the Street Fighter movie. I love the Tekken movie. The original Mario movie, I don't. I hate that. That's terrible. Let's not do that again. But I unironically do love some of the old video game movies that existed in the past, but I do see a common shift in the media, that is movies, that is TV shows, that are like cartoon adaptations of video games. And I'm really excited to see video games finally in more of a mainstream audience. I feel like with how big the gaming industry is becoming and how it's eclipsing other forms of media, it is just really awesome to see that. I feel like we have gamers in every facet of every other industry, right? If you're making TV shows, if you're making movies, chances are you grew up playing video games like Mortal Kombat, like Street Fighters, like Mario, which in turn is starting to translate in better, more actualized versions of what we play on our consoles in the big TV, in the silver screen, and it's just really exciting to see what the future might hold. With Sony's current push into like video game movie adaptations, with the Gran Turismo trailer that's coming out, I see something that's very interesting, right? The way that they can pull stories out of not just the video games itself, but gaming stories, and you can kind of like adapt them differently in ways that I don't think I would have ever expected. Like when I first heard of the Gran Turismo movie, I was like, that sounds ridiculous. It sounds stupid. Gran Turismo doesn't really have a story. What are we gonna see? I was gonna expect some kind of speed racer movie or some kind of like Fast and the Furious type movie, but no. What they're doing with the Gran Turismo movie looks amazing. I love the actors. I love the directors. I love the different types of cinematics and the approach they're taking. I feel like they're really showcasing gamers as like this underdog kind of story that literally everybody can relate to. And I feel like this is the best way to translate some of these movies is you don't just do it for the gamer, right? You do it in a story, in a medium that translates to a wider audience so we can grow this industry from not just the hardcore gamers, not just the casual gamers, but for people who maybe don't see the appeal to games the way that some of us do, who maybe don't really consider it passion like some of us do. And it's just really exciting to see because I remember growing up in a time where being like a hardcore gamer or even like a semi-casual gamer, you'd kind of like you'd kind of be looked at side eyes. They kind of looked at you like you're a weirdo or you weren't doing anything with your life. Like it was just a huge time sink. But seeing these different like adaptations and seeing the media or seeing the mainstream audience kind of accept it is just so fascinating nowadays. I feel like it's also really inspiring to see things like the Twisted Metal franchise, which I thought was a dead franchise, getting a TV show. Sure, it's on Peacock, which isn't the best streaming service, but it's getting something. And not to mention the Mario movie that made $1 billion worldwide and counting. That is insane. I can't even imagine what Nintendo's going to do with this money and how they're going to translate it back into gaming for us, right? Like, this is just extra income for them. How are they going to grow their teams, not just in the movie landscape, but in the gaming landscape? Because, I mean, that's where these companies know their bread and butter is video games, is this merchandising, these IPs that they're building, and seeing kind of where they can place it in other forms of mainstream media is just going to be really exciting to see. I'm just glad that I live in a time where gaming is no longer just the video games. It's the communities, it's the movie products, the merchandise, and it's just really exciting to see that there's gonna be a whole new generation of gamers growing up in a time where people respect video games and these video game characters same way people would respect something like Disney, or even seeing The Last of Us being held up to such high acclaims by tons of people is just gonna be exciting to see people really understand that these stories that are being told are not just silly nerdy kind of culture, and it's more like dramatic. It means more than people like think it does. I do think similar to how like the MCU kind of brought the whole comic book superhero medium into the more of a mainstream and into a more modern sense. I feel like video games is moving in that same direction, and it's just gonna be crazy to see who plays who and what, who's gonna do voice acting for what, and what kind of ways they're gonna retell these stories or retransform them for a different audience. All in all, I'm just really excited for the potential that a lot of this holds. Yeah, that's all I got. I think I just wanted to talk about something really positive. I think I wanted to just like highlight some of the favorite things that I like that video game is kind of moving into. Do me a favor, you guys like the video. If you like the video, please consider subscribing, as it does help me out tons. Let me know down below what's your favorite video game adaptation into a different medium, and if you're excited for any of the upcoming products or projects like Twisted Metal or Gran Turismo, whatever Nintendo does next. With that, I'll see you guys on our next video.